If I bring something on the market, or if Charlie brings something on the market, let's say, you know it's good. It's done. I had one of our turbos before I worked here. I had my first stage one 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And I will never buy anything else because I see how the development is.
Yeah.
I see how much time Charlie puts into that. It is just ridiculous. And then people ask, oh, did you ever try that? Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We tried every combination you can imagine. There's a reason why this is on the market, because it's the best what technology lets us do right now.
Yeah.
Period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I stand 100% behind it. For example, our stage 2 dual ball bearing will outspool everything else on the market. In the same size, it will outspool it. Period. I 100% stand behind that.
Yeah. And even just since I've been here, you know, I'll just see Charlie, and then if he's like, you know, doing R&D, I won't see him for 3 days. And then every once in a while I'll go talk to Tony in the shop and be like, hey, what's going on? And then there's Charlie just on the dyno on his laptop. He's like, Tony, I don't know, this one isn't as good. Can you do turbo swap? Let's try prototype, whatever, number 2 or 3 or 5.
I mean, it's just ridiculous that our dyno runs literally for 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
For sometimes weeks on end, it's just dyno. And then after finally something passes on the dyno to Charlie's liking or anything like that, now we start testing street usage.
Yeah, and then it's got to get employee seal of approval. Like Tyler's a great example.
Yep.
Prototyping, put something on his truck, and he's like, well, it's pretty good. And Charlie's like, oh, man. And then he does a bunch more research, tries another one, and then puts it on his truck. And Tyler's like, oh, my gosh, this is the best turbo I've ever had on a 7.3 ever. So it's like, it's just so cool.
I mean, the R&D time just takes forever until the Jetfire hit the market. This was over 3 years of just road testing until we said, okay, yeah, you know what? It's reliable. It's good. It holds abuse. We're good.
Yeah.
It's years.
Yeah,
I mean, and then people ask us all the time, hey, where's your 2020 turbo?
Exactly what I was going to say.
In R&D.
Yeah.
What do you mean in R&D? You don't have one yet? Oh, we have 5.
Yeah. We've had it for a couple of years, but
yeah, guess what? I had a 2020 turbo in 2021 without a problem. Yeah, 100%. I don't like it yet.
Whistler is a great example of that. We've tested it on, 11 to 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then 18, 19, I think.
Yep.
So it's like tested on every single model.
Every single year that it had a 6.7 on it, had a Whistler installed, all 3 sizes of Whistlers, with then all models with upgraded fuel systems.
Mm-hmm.
And then road testing forever. So why is the 2020 turbo not out yet? Because we're road testing forever.
Yeah.
If I bring something on the market, or if Charlie brings something on the market, let's say, you know it's good. It's done. We're just done with it. Yeah. Then let's evolve from that. But to just say, oh, I'm going to bring a 2020 turbo on the market because a bunch of people will buy it, it's not how we work. If it's not better than factory, and substantially better than factory, I don't want it.
Yeah. It feels dishonest to sell something that isn't an upgrade. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you get a little more power on the top end, but you lose everything that's good about a diesel.
If you lose your drivability, you don't need that truck. You don't need that turbo. Turbo sizing is the biggest issue there. It's like guys on 6.7s, oh, it's a heavy tow rig, and we're going to put a stage 3 on it. It's like, just don't.
Please don't. Yeah.
Both bigger is not always better. Charlie says it a million times, and I learned it the hardest way. Bigger is not always better. Your truck will be useless, and you will hate it.
Yeah.
And you will hate the turbo. Charlie never not works. There's no such thing. In the end, he's the owner of the company.
Yeah.
He always works. He's working 24/7, and that's why I take that so much to heart if something doesn't work right. Or I have an unhappy customer, because Charlie's not only my boss, he's a friend of mine. I knew him before I worked here, and I always liked Charlie a lot. That's his legacy. That's a company he built out of his garage. I'm going to make sure I'm going to give 110% when I go to work, and make sure his reputation stays on top where it should be. Because in the end of the day, I know a lot of guys that build turbos, and then I don't know a lot of people that spend as much time on R&D and actually try to develop something. Of course, you can be a guy and say, oh yeah, I'm going to put a billet wheel in it, and I'm going to do a fancy turbine wheel, and I'm going to stamp made in USA on it, because I built it. Well, I have to rant a little bit now. All those, 100% made in USA. Oh, really? You have a foundry in your backyard? Do you have that? Do you have a $3 million lathe that you require to make a billet wheel smooth and not linear cuts, a perfect billet wheel? Oh, you have a flow bench too, don't you? Oh, where's your dyno and where are your 20 trucks at that you tested those on? Yeah. You build your turbos.
Yeah.
You design them.
Yeah.
You build in USA. Sure, buddy.
Yeah. More like assembled.
And it's just the ignorance of people.
Yeah.
We have bearings out of Germany. We have bearings out of Japan. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. Germany makes the best bearings. Japan makes the best bearings. There's nothing wrong with it. Try to find a foundry to cast you something.
Yeah.
With all the environmental restrictions and all that, try to find a good foundry that will take a job. It's impossible.
Exactly. And that's the thing. So even at my old job, used to work at I won't say the name, used to work at a transmission shops, and get pans cast, made in America. But I mean, even then, there was 2 options to choose from in our part of the country for foundries. And then the first option, at least probably 4 to 6 month lead time. Couldn't deal with that, moved to the closer foundry. Second option, cut down to 4 to 6 week lead time. And there's still manufacturing defects. And it costs more. So it's like, is it really worth the trouble to deal with the 2 foundries that we knew of?
Well, I'm always for keeping jobs in America. 100%. The more American jobs we have, the better it is. I love that. I'm 100% with it. However, if you can say, I will build a successful company and I employ 30 people in the U.S., or I'm going to just dropship everything directly from somewhere else, then I employ only myself and everybody else outside of the U.S., then if that 30-person or 30-people company gets some help from Germany, from Japan, from, let's be Taiwan, because all aluminum wheels are made there, let's say, for trucks, all those freaking big old wheels that everybody has on their truck, well, guess what? They're made in Taiwan. Doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter to me, because in the end of the day, I bought my wheels from a guy 15 miles down the road that has a wheel and tire shop that I buy all my stuff from. And in the end of the day, that guy has a job now. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me.